you know? Anyway.
Evangelicals didn't lose their way by supporting authoritarian figures. They followed a path that's been paved for them for decades. It was shaped by a desire for cultural power. I don't really understand that one. A redefined image of Jesus as a warrior. I guess so. I don't know how did we get there? How did I guess you have to read the book.
You got to read the book. I mean,
I
it's the
get what
moral
you're saying, but I
majority.
struggle to connect those 2 points. Like, let's just use John Wayne as an example. When we say the path was shaped by a desire for cultural power, a redefined image of Jesus as a warrior, and a patriarchal nationalist worldview, I haven't made that connection yet, and I know she does in the book because this says it, between like pop culture and why pop culture would be interested in putting John Wayne's in front of us so that our view of Jesus changed. You know what I mean? It's like, to me, those two things are disconnected. To me, it's more like the way I think about it would be like not a cultural push to make us think a certain way, but just like naturally, because, for example, somebody like John Wayne in the movies would be seen praying or talking to priests or like, going to church. We began to connect those two ideas, but I don't necessarily look at that as like it was like a big plot to
Well,
change the way that
there
Jesus.
was there was a political move. It was called the moral majority, and they really pushed for a connection to the Republican Party. I think the Republican Party saw a need for votes, and they saw evangelicals as a huge voting bloc, and so they
Yeah,
were like, okay, well, we'll vote. I mean, it's politics. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like, but they saw evangelicals as a huge voting bloc, and so they began, look, and how do you get people to vote for you? You start doing things that they like. I mean,
Yeah.
but you start doing it without really a connection to those principles. You just
Yeah,
do
so
it
like
because
plebes like you and me would never know that this was like some kind of huge plot, but eventually we got here and they got the votes, so everybody wins.